Yeah, why don't I start today? I just want to, acknowledge the injury with Tyler Roberts. It was a kind of a freak accident on the pitch, and we knew it was going to be a pretty heavy injury right away, but Tyler was adamant about wanting to stay on the pitch for the rest of the match, which I appreciated, and it helped us a little bit maybe in set-piece situations and whatnot. But he had a successful surgery. We texted a little bit after the surgery, and he was in positive spirits, and the surgeon feels like it went well. So we're hopeful that he'll have a full recovery and in 3-4 months' time be strong and ready and back at 100%.
Jesse, can you just sort of sum up how your time's been here so far? What's 10 days, first game under your belt? How's the settling in period?
Yeah. The nice thing is it's slowing down a little bit. The first days when you come, there's a million things on your mind and a million things to take care of, and you got to get to know people more and more. Now we've spent more intensive time with each other, everything from the people here at the training center to the staff at the stadium to obviously the players, and I think that we've enjoyed our time together. It's been very positive. We obviously felt good about the first performance, despite not getting the result that we thought we wanted and frankly deserved. But we know that those good feelings are will stay strong when we can get the results. So the focus and concentration to try to push every day to understand exactly what direction we want to go in has been good, and we will need that in this coming week.
You sound as though you've had positivity from the players as well, which is a good thing. You have to remember it's not easy for them, is it? Because a new manager comes in so used to the previous regime, and so used to certain training methods as well.
Yeah. They
have to adapt, don't they? So have you been pleased with that?
Yeah, they do have to adapt. We talked about that from the beginning. I think it's not just the tactics and the football style. It's also the type of leader I am. I'm different. I'm more interactive, I think, not just comparing to Marcelo, but to many coaches. So, but they're getting to know me more. I think they're getting to understand what's important to me and what will be important to us. And their ability to commit to that every day and come with energy every day, it will determine how quick the learning curve is. Again, after the first game, I think the feedback in terms of the performance is what we wanted, but it's only the first step, and there's a long, long, long way to go yet.
Just talking about that first game, a lot of people focused on the immediate aftermath and the post-match huddle on the pitch. Was that something spontaneous, or is it something you want to continue?
So I've done that at different moments, partly because like if I go back to my time in Austria and Germany, after the game, the media comes for players right away, and it's almost impossible after the match to have the whole group together. So I've spoken with James that the attention around this small little conversation with the group I find frankly hilarious and ridiculous. But whatever, maybe people don't see that much here. I've done that quite a few times in my career, in positive moments and negative moments. And it's about now making sure that we're able to, as a group, process what just happened and make sure that we're clear on what was good, what was bad, and how we're going to move forward. So I thought that the immediate feedback in that situation was important. I realized maybe I could do it in the locker room. Maybe I'll do it on the pitch. I don't know. Who cares?
Spoke to Jack Harrison yesterday. He enjoyed it.
Okay, good.
It was the right thing to do.
Yeah, and then to make sure that our fans were great at Leicester, to make sure that we always go and acknowledge them, which the guys are really good about that. And then just to continue our process here of what we're trying to develop and to do it in as short a time frame as we possibly can.
Just talking about fans, how important are these stating to the obvious, I suppose, isn't it? 2 home games, big 6 points available. There's 11 matches for and 33 points to play for. There's a long way to go, isn't it?
Well, first, I would say with the fans, like I've spent some time in and around the city too, having dinner and seeing people, and I think that the fans have come to a really good balance of understanding that they can love Marcelo Bielsa and still support the new coach and the new direction of the team. And I think I'm certainly very comfortable with that as well. And I think in the end, what's the most important is that the team can perform and represent the fans and get the results that we need to keep us in the Premier League. So they understand that. I've had a lot of really positive interactions with people and really kind. I mean, I can honestly really kind and generous and thoughtful and supportive. Much more than I think I deserve or could ask for. So I'm thankful for that, and I'm doing everything I can to make sure that we as a group and as a team can represent that kindness and that mentality within our community here.
You spoke about Tyler Roberts, a blow for him, but what about Patrick Bamford? Is he ready to return and start?
Yeah, Patrick will play for sure tomorrow. He won't start, but he will be ready from the bench, and we're excited to have him back in the team, and I think he can give us a real boost.
I mean, that's been a massive miss for the spine of the team, really.
Well, what was interesting is, so then, when we were contemplating his return to play and what we wanted his weeks to look like here since I've been here, then the physical team told me what his loading has been like over the last 6, 7, 8 months, and with the different kinds of injuries he's had, he hasn't trained hard often and certainly hasn't played much. So even getting him back, it's the reason why I was hesitant against Leicester. I just felt like we had more to lose than gain in that moment, and knowing how important Patrick is, even for me from a personality perspective. He's a positive guy. He comes with the energy. He works really hard. Like the effect he'll have in the group, I think, will be relatively massive, and I think we would need to make sure that we handle his return in a way that only gets him stronger and stronger and better and better.
Adam Pope.
Thanks, Jesse. So Tyler on course for the 3 to 4 months, as you were saying. What about Leo Helder? Has he undergone surgery as well?
Yes. So he is. I think he had surgery last Wednesday. So it's been 8 days. Maybe it was Thursday, 7 days. The immediate feedback has been that it was not so severe and that they trimmed up his knee really well, and his knee hasn't reacted. He doesn't have much swelling. He has full range of motion, and he's walking without a limp, and looks like the recovery could be a matter of weeks instead of months.
So you think he might have a part?
I hope so. I hope so.
What about Adam Forshaw and Diego Llorente for tomorrow night? Adam didn't start and Diego was missing. Are they available?
Yeah, I think they're both possibilities from the start, and certainly close to 100%. And like Adam Forshaw told me, he hasn't felt this good in weeks. So I think he'll be absolutely ready for the match tomorrow, and Diego as well. Diego was full in training today, and he'll be ready as well.
Was Diego injured?
Yeah, he had a small muscle issue, but it kept him out of availability for the weekend. But he will certainly be in the squad tomorrow.
Listening to you post-match the other day, Jesse, you were saying that you could see where they needed to be sharper in every moment of the game. Have you managed to implement the things that you need them to be sharper in the?
Yeah, well, we've implement, yes and no, but certainly address in terms of video and tactics and understanding of roles on the pitch. We've talked relatively clearly and extensively to try to make everyone aware exactly what their roles are at every single moment in the match. And, that's a big part of what I try to do tactically, is give them clarity as to, in every moment, what the roles are and then how they fit with each other. And then what I find is once they understand the reasons why, what the expectations are, that then they're able to pray. They get to the point where these are second nature behaviors on the pitch, and then they're able to play freely. Obviously, we're not there yet, but they felt the power. They felt the power of the way we want to play from the Leicester match. And so now the key is to keep them hungry to improve and understand and execute, and allow them the freedom to go on the pitch and go after it with everything they have. So we're getting there. We're getting there a little bit closer every day.
Talk of communication, Stuart Dallas and Jack Harrison have both said you'd be very clear in what you want. Where have you learned to do that? How have you learned to do that?
Well, for me, I'm so happy to not speak German anymore because, it's the intonation of language. It's the small details of what words to use and when that make communication effective or not. And I became relatively fluent in German, but I wasn't able to capture every moment as well as I can in English, obviously. So even the thought of coming here, there's so many things I think I touched on in the first press conference about the people here, the connection I have with the leaders in the club, the idea of what the club is and wants to become, and how the playing style can transfer from, Marcelo to me. But a lot of it is also that I feel much more comfortable in my ability to implement, to communicate, to describe, and also the emotion I think comes across when I'm just able to speak my mother tongue. So what's funny is that maybe I'm ridiculed more for my language here in England than I would be in Germany, and it's my native language. But we'll get through that. I'm not worried about it. We'll get through that.
As for Aston Villa, you have had crossover with Steven Gerrard when he was at LA. What can you recall? Obviously, he was his time. He remembers you as a coach.
Okay.
What do you think of him as a coach?
Well, I would start with first talking about watching him as a player when he was at Liverpool. He was a player I admired because of his passion and his will on the pitch. And so, I think for a manager like him, he's trying to then use those qualities to translate to his team, right? To impose upon his team, and that's clear. And I think that they've responded to him really well, despite not every result being what they would want. I can relate with that, I was nowhere near the quality of player as Steven, but I tried to embody full mentality on the pitch and to be a player that played with no fear and went after the game and after the opponent at all moments. So I appreciate what he has said. We played against LA. I think we won when he was there. I think we might have won 3-2 with a late penalty. But he scored in that game, if I remember correctly. It might have been, maybe it was 2-2. I think it was 3-2. But the crowds, LA is sort of like the jewel of MLS, and the superstars that they've had there over the years with David Beckham and countless other guys meant that the games in LA were always exciting and fun and had a lot of emotion.
And just finally, how many times a day do you remind Jack Harrison that you beat 7-0 on his professional debut?
I try. He reminded me that was his first game. And I said, okay, we won't talk about it. I think that's a pretty famous game in the history of the league in MLS, and certainly one that we had a good match plan and played very, very well. But I knew, I'd watched Jack in university, and we had considered trying to find a way to draft him when I was at the New York Red Bulls. All these things might be a little bit foreign to the way football works here in England, but the way it works in the U.S., I knew who he was, and we would have really liked to have him at the New York Red Bulls, but unfortunately the enemy had taken him. But it's nice to be on the same team with him now.
Thanks.
Yep.
Damien. Hello, Jesse.
Hi.
How much emphasis have you put on improving the defence? Because you seem to limit Leicester to quite a few, relatively few chances.
Well, it's one thing to say you need to defend better, and then it's another thing to just be clear with what the tactical model is and how you want your team to behave. For me, the way we play, it's not fair to say that Ilan needs to improve his performances or that the center backs, or it's about the team and the clarity at which we want to play. And if you were to talk about their ability to execute that in the game against Leicester, I would say it was a very good performance, very positive, quite unlucky even in the moment that we give up the goal. The one thing I spoke to the team about is the goal was a result a little bit of the fact that when Schmeichel had the ball, we weren't all ready for exactly what was going to come next, and it was too easy for Leicester to walk down the field and now be in our last third and have the opportunity to put together a little quality play like that. So the importance in the way we play, that every player is always alert and ready and clear and organized, and that the communication on the pitch is such and that the roles are understood, is what will make us a better defensive team, more so than just the individual performances.
What are you expecting from Aston Villa? Because they're going to form
Yeah. They'll play. I'd be shocked if they don't play with a diamond. They've gotten 2 good results when they've played with a diamond in the last games. Coutinho's been a big factor playing the 10 in the diamond. The 2 strikers, Ings and Watkins, have been very active and very explosive, specifically in transition moments. They've also defended very well. They're a team that frankly admire with what they do with set pieces. I've heard they have a set piece coach, and the creativity they show and the variation that they have and everything that they do means that we have to be alert and ready for any kind of special plays that they might organize, and a team that's very confident, right? And so that can always be dangerous. We will need our fans. We will need a good start. Certainly one of the goals will be in a good start to find a way to get the lead. It's been a long time for us as a team since we've had a lead in the match. So I think we painted the picture. We've also played against them a month ago, but I think we painted a pretty clear picture as to what to expect from the game, and then what our tactics are and what we want to achieve.
Brett? How are Calvin and Liam getting on? When might we see them?
So Liam was in training yesterday, and I think he's making really good progress. Calvin is a few days behind. We will evaluate on Friday if he's ready to start to enter training. In my mind, I'm earmarking the international break as a time where we can really start to get him into a training rhythm and get him back to being at 100%. Maybe it happens earlier. Let's see. But I think what's most important at this juncture right now is that we don't have any setbacks and that we're building them in the right ways so that the curve of returning back to play is as steep as can be, but has no interruptions.
How can you get the best out of Rafinha? How can you get him back to the form he's shown?
Yeah, I think making him clear with what the tactics are and what we want from him in different moments with and without the ball, and having him be aggressive and confident in 1v1 situations and transition moments, have him be explosive and use his ability to run and sprint and do that over and over again. He's one of the most fit players on the team. And then for the team to understand how to find him, how to use him, how to really help support him so that he can be all the things that we know he can and help us find goals and assists and be aggressive. So what I like about him is I called on him in one of the meetings this week, and he spoke English in front of the group, and he did it in a confident way. He also has come to us several times and said, I'd like to do this on set pieces. I'd like to do this when I'm in this parts of the field. And so I like that he's assertive. I like that he's confident. And we're going to use that to help us continue to find results as a team.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Joe. Hi, Jesse.
Hi.
You mentioned there about set pieces. Dallas and Harrison were obviously over the ball quite a lot against Leicester. Is that something which was specific to them or something that will cater to different teams in the league?
Well, we will come up with specific set piece plans for every opponent based on what they present and what their qualities are, and that's both defensively, offensively, throw-ins in every aspect of the game. It's something we're introducing to the team, and they're grasping well. I find it's not always exactly what you do with set pieces, but just the mentality that those moments in the game are important. We even had we created a plan today, and the players' attention to detail and then their execution on the pitch, even from a training session, was quite good. And then we also showed them in the game how they were relatively successful with the things that we wanted to achieve offensively and defensively. So it's a good first sign for what we want to become as a set piece team. But a lot of it, again, is about the mentality and that these moments are important. So we'll keep working on that.
Are you looking forward to meeting the Ellen Road faithful tomorrow?
Excuse me, the what?
The Ellen Road fans.
Yes. So I've heard from multiple people around the league, friends of mine that are coaches at other teams, and obviously from our players that this is, if not the best, one of the best environments and fan bases and most loud and energetic and supportive fan bases in the league. So we need them in these two games. I think everybody in the city knows that we need them. Everybody in the city knows that we need points and results, and nobody wants to be satisfied with anything but being in the Premier League next year. So this is a group effort, man. We have a one team city here, and let's use it to make sure that we are creating momentum in our group and in our team so that we can achieve our goals.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Bill.
Hi Jesse. When it comes to your lineup, how much will squad rotation play a part in what you do over an extended period of time? Like your coach, you will rotate.
I have a reputation for rotating, I think, and giving players opportunities. I know that with the demands that I put on the players physically, that fresh legs are important, as well as not overloading players in the team is important. I also like there to always be hunger in the team to know that if players are training well and performing well at any given moment, that they are considered to be factors in what we need on game day. So, yes, and then it's just the answer is yes about rotation, and then it's just about finding the balance of what to do and when and how it affects match plans and specific opponents, and trying to, without being too clever, make sure that we have a strong group and a full squad that's ready for every moment.
With somebody like Coutinho, who is in good form at the minute, would you set up specifically to counter somebody like that?
Yeah, we already discussed that this will be a focus of how we address the game. I think it's important to always identify what the strengths are of a team and what players make a difference. Certainly, everyone knows that Coutinho is a great player, and I think that it'll be really important for us to make it tight for him, to not give him much room, to be aggressive with him. So clearly not an easy task, but not one that'll be handled by one person. It'll be a group effort.
Thank you.
Yep.
Stuart, you got one?
Hi Jesse, can I just ask, as you're learning about players and their characters, I guess you probably learn more after a defeat than anything else. So what did you make of their reaction and their morale at the moment?
Well, what you need to be in 11v11 moments to use those moments to get to know people more and to help them understand how they can develop and fit into the puzzle of what we're trying to create here. So whether it was a win or a loss, what I saw is an intelligent group that is really committed to each other, that wants to learn, that wants to try to achieve under the things that I'm trying to present them. I know that even when if you talk about the huddle after the game, I could see by the looks on their faces, even in the last minutes of the game, that they want it so bad. Right? So there's no lack of desire or work ethic or commitment. That is all there at the highest level. And it's just for me to help shape how to use those energies from a mentality perspective and a football perspective so that they can perform and win. Right? This is what they want more than anything. I think, again, the best way to keep the energy positive and the mood in the team strong is to get some points and get some wins, and then I think it will come together in a way that we're all proud of.
Mark?
Yeah, I was just going to touch on Coutinho, which Phil mentioned. Steven Gerrard described him as a level above Jesse, and you're not an advocate of man-to-man marking, so it's going to be interesting how you deal with that.
Yeah, and he works for the team, but he's also clever about when to not commit so hard to some of his defensive responsibilities so that when the ball turns over, he has energy and he can be in dangerous positions to be in the counterattack. We have to be very clever with that and account for him at all moments. And then, I think, Steven's right. He is a quality player. That, for Villa to get their hands on him, I think is a game changer and very helpful. And we need to make sure that we are aware of that and that we understand that and that he has a tough day.
Mark, sorry. Oscar, have you got a question?
Yeah, hi Jesse.
Hi.
You were speaking earlier about what you've been told about the atmosphere at Ellen Road from other people. Did you know much about it yourself before you arrived? You would have been watching games. Is that something you picked up?
Well, I did see it and I heard it from people this year that have been around it. And then I could probably even go back to my friends Mike Grella and Lloyd Sam that were here when they were in the championship, and they would talk about the energy behind the team and the love they had to be in this city. So, and again, the part about people being incredibly positive with me, incredibly positive. I'm very thankful for that, and I want us to get some results and some wins so that continues.
What's the best atmosphere you've experienced as a manager so far?
I mean, there's been a lot, right? When we played in Liverpool in Champions League, all the Champions League environments are outstanding. I've been at a game at La Bombonera in Boca Juniors in Argentina. That's pretty incredible. I've been to a North London derby. I've been to a lot of Dortmund's an incredible stadium. What a great fan base they have. There's a lot of, football's awesome. and the passion that people have for football is awesome. So, almost, yeah. But I'm really excited. I'm really excited for tomorrow.
Dave, Jesse, we were chatting there about Patrick Bamford, and you're conscious that he broke down twice when he was nearly ready to return from injury. So you're conscious you want to be extra careful with him. So when you do get him back, he'll be available for the whole run because you need to.
Yeah, like I tried to explain for Leicester, it's always risk reward for me. And when we have a plan before the match to stick with what we think players physically need and what they can offer us, that it's really important that if we want our players to be disciplined, that we can stay disciplined on the decisions we make, even when emotions in a match may make us feel in a different way. So, what was so sad about the decision that was made is I believe it was the right decision to put Tyler on the field. But then when he gets injured immediately, obviously it's sad because Tyler now has to be out and picks up a serious injury. And then it doesn't allow us to push the game the way that we felt that we could. So, that didn't obviously feel good. But in the end, you have to, I think, separate decision-making from results and understand what was right and what was good and what was not.
Finally, Bruce from New York.
All right, we got a
from ESPN.
Okay. Hey.
I imagine you haven't come across Jack Harrison too much since New York. Tell me about the player that you've inherited and the progress that he's made since the last time you saw him at Death.
Yeah, well, I spoke at one point about making contact with Victor Orta 2 years ago. Before that, I had followed when I could see Leeds to see Jack, right? When we've had players from the US or MLS that have come over, I've tried to see what their adaptation's been like and how they've grown. And, I could see that Jack had, even when he was on loan, I think taken a lot of new responsibility here and developed a lot as a player and at the levels at which the Championship and the Premier League are, you could see that he was getting better and better. Getting to know him more. I mean, he was always the type of player that after the game was very respectful to the opponent's coach and would shake my hand and say good game. And I'd heard that he was a really good young man, and it's clear to see. And what I've tried to also say to him is, it's okay to be a good young man and to be a son of a bitch on the pitch. And almost, so he has such quality. And my goal is to push him and his personality and his level of play on the field so that he can use all of his strong qualities as a human being to benefit him to continue to grow as a player and become as dangerous and effective and as big a part of the game as I believe he can be. So, I mean, that's every little player is a little different in what their qualities are and how I'm trying to help them move forward. But that's how I'd kind of quickly sum up what it's been like with Jack in the first week.
He thinks he's an especially good fit for what he has learned about your system.
Okay.
Both in terms of what he can do in offense and his defensive energy. I mean, do you agree?
Yeah. He can run all day. He is explosive. He's effective in 1v1 situations. He's dangerous. He's smart. And so I'm asking him to play a little bit different role than what he had played here as like more of a wide winger. I want him a little bit more to be an interior player at times and to be aggressive more in transition moments. But again, he's intelligent and understands how to apply himself. And then I just want to give him the confidence to go out on the pitch and apply the ideas of our football and to achieve.
Does that mean shooting more at times than he had been?
Maybe. But I just think it's being more decisive and clear as to what the last actions can be. So, and I think his application of that in the first game was quite good, and he was very dangerous in the first game, and a little bit unlucky not to come away with a goal or an assist. So, and he'll get better and better.
Okay.
Good guys. Thank you.
Good luck. Thank you.